let's talk about this school that we love so much, this university. So why is this a time to be so excited about Vanderbilt?
Well, Willie, first let me thank you for being here. And, it's just an amazing time to have joined Vanderbilt. I came here just about 2 years ago. And I think that what brought me here is what brings our nation's best students and our nation's best faculty here. A tremendous amount of academic rigor, right? It's very challenging to take classes here at Vanderbilt, whether it's economics or political science or art history. There are so many ways in which we challenge our students and we challenge ourselves. But I think the other thing that's so profoundly important is that when we stretch in that way, we can accomplish really amazing things. We have faculty winning early career awards from the National Science Foundation, Guggenheim Awards, Grammys, just this incredible level of accomplishment. We're quickly rising to being among the top 10 of the nation's elite private universities in terms of our research. We just, it's amazing. And we're so productive that we just actually surpassed MIT in our research portfolio, which is just a really impressive thing. So we're really ambitious, and I think you heard that from Chancellor Diermeyer, you hear that from our Vice Chancellor Candace Lee. We set our sights on these amazing goals, but we get there as a community, and we get there really in this framework that focuses on teamwork rather than on throwing sharp elbows or being really cutthroat. And I think the last thing that's really important to think about, and I think about this a lot as a developmental psychologist, is that we build a level of confidence in going for really big goals that I think is quite profound. I'm very optimistic as a person, but I think we have the empirical kind of evidence to support that some students walk through the door and they know what they want to do. They know where they want to go. They know why they're here. I think other students may come in a little less certain, and they may be really trying to figure out what they're capable of. And Vanderbilt builds a strong sense, an amazing sense of capability, of capacity, of truly amazing human potential that really leads to leadership in ways that are really quite profound, not just for this university, but really for our nation in terms of building the nation's next generation of leaders.
Very, very well said. So we've seen rigor and relevance illustrated this evening. One thing that's evident at Vanderbilt is whether it's Richard Song, who we saw, a mathematician, podcaster, future neuroscientist, or Doug Adams' team using science to innovate military technology. There's no typical Vanderbilt student. It's hard to even put your finger on it anymore. So given that, what are some ways to talk about the Vanderbilt experience?
I think you've absolutely touched on that. There is no one path. I was sitting at the table, at my table, with a student named Allison, who's studying economics and history, and I said, and I thought I was being funny, and I said, and that's when you're not a varsity athlete and you're not starting two companies. And she said, well, I actually am a varsity athlete.
Yeah.
I'm a swimmer. And in fact, she's actively doing a huge amount of work on other projects, including as an intern in the office of Provost, working with financial analysts in my team. And it was just that kind of inspiring expectation of the opportunity to sort of grow the ways in which she can engage with the world. And that people can achieve far more than they initially anticipated about themselves. And a colleague at the table said, well, you're going into consulting, you're going to have to work really hard, you're not going to get a lot of sleep. And of course, that is her experience today. She's really, really, really passionate and connected to all of those things. So I think that it's important to keep in mind that that opportunity is something that we've done by building a world-class support for students called Opportunity Vanderbilt, where we provide financial aid to students. So that regardless of family economic background or means, any student can be at Vanderbilt because they deserve to be here, because they're so talented and amazing. And I guess the last thing I'd say about that is that we're really doubling down on that idea of opportunity, or that commitment to opportunity. Specifically, when students have the opportunity to do work over the summer, and I know this because I had a lot of that experience myself as a student on financial aid, immediately you are sort of pressed to the concern of having to take a perhaps less interesting job because you need to earn that summer income to alleviate some of the burden on your family. But what we'd really like to make sure is that every student, including those students who are on financial aid, can have a really meaningful summer internship, whether it's at the Getty Museum in LA, or working on Wall Street, or working with a research faculty member in the lab. We want students to have that opportunity. And fellowships and internship support from the Levy family, for example, or the Hoaglands, allow for students to take on those really meaningful internship opportunities so that they can be able to carve that really unique and special path.
So we've been talking a lot tonight about innovation. Obviously, Vanderbilt, fertile ground for innovation. So what do you see as needed to sort of build the conditions for that? And how do you describe what makes as a life of a student here so uniquely fascinating in that way?
I mean, I think the one word is really collaboration, radical collaboration and teamwork. You've seen so many incredible examples on this stage of the kinds of innovation that our faculty are able to do together, that our students are able to do together, and it's really because of this idea of coming together. I partner with the Vice Chancellor of Athletics, Candace Lee. I partner with the Vice Chancellor of Operations on buildings. We pull together so that we can make things possible, and students do that all the time. Innovation is just incredibly grounded in a sense that we are all in it together.
Absolutely. And I mean, I think one of the things that stands out just listening tonight is the diversity of opportunity at this school. All the things that we didn't know we were going to do when we arrived here and that I got to do. I talked about journalism and studying abroad and everything else. So what is unique about this place in terms of opportunity?
You know, I think we have so many things in terms of faculty research. We have so many things in terms of what students are able to do. It's really in making a huge impact on the world. You know, you heard the Chancellor say that we are defining what it is to be the best university of the 21st century. And I think it's incredibly exciting to be part of a huge, grand project to be that best university of the 21st century. And having that maximum level of social impact and economic impact through people having the power of starting new companies, developing new technologies, just really, really inspiring and really exciting.
Well, it is very inspiring. It is very exciting. Well said. Thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you for delivering the message and carrying the flag for Vanderbilt.
Thanks, Willie.
Great to see you.
Wonderful to have you as an ambassador.